What's up everyone and welcome. In this episode, we're going to talk about a 2-year-long attack against the airline industry using AsyncRAT along with other remote access trojans. First, we're going to walk through the story, and then we're going to see what we can learn from this event to make our systems more secure, so make sure you watch it to the end.
Oh, drat these computers. They're so naughty and so complex. I could pinch them.
A 2-year-old espionage campaign against the airline industry is ongoing, with AsyncRAT and other commodity remote access trojans, aka rats, helping those efforts take flight. The campaign can effectively be a bird strike to the business engine, so to speak, resulting in data theft, financial fraud, or follow-on attacks, according to researchers who have uncovered new details about the perpetrators. According to Tiago, Pereira and Vitor Ventura at Cisco Talos, Operation Layover is likely the work of an unsophisticated threat actor based in Nigeria, which has been active on the cybercrime scene for at least 6 years in various campaigns against multiple sectors. The attacker doesn't seem to be technically sophisticated, using off-the-shelf malware since the beginning of its activities without developing its own malware, the researchers noted in a Thursday posting. The actor also buys the crypters that allow the usage of such malware without being detected, and throughout the years, it has used several different decryptors, mostly bought on online forums. This shows that a small operation can run for years under the radar while still causing serious problems for its targets. The goal has been to pilfer credentials and cookies, which the attacker can offer to more technically savvy cybercriminals, researchers said. These big game hunters use them for initial access in much larger attacks involving ransomware or business email compromise hits. And indeed, the cyber underground market for initial access brokers, or IAB, is booming by all accounts. The business of gathering access to vulnerable organizations and then selling those to the highest bidder on the dark web has especially been on the rise as ransomware as a service has grown in popularity, according to Stefano de Blasio, the cyber threat intelligence analyst at Digital Shadows. IABs have reached a significant level of success and notoriety in the past 18 to 24 months, given the parallel booming of the ransomware as a service model. In this environment, IABs provide ransomware attackers, or actors, with a seemingly infinite pool of victims that are already compromised and thus merely require ransomware affiliates to deploy the malware. This market spells $signs, or perhaps Bitcoin signs, for lower-level cyber criminals. The black market for web cookies, tokens, and valid credentials is way too valuable when compared with the economy in their home countries for them to stop, the Cisco Talos researchers noted. These are actors that feed the underground market of credentials and cookies, which can then be used by larger groups. They added, these kinds of small operations tend to fly under the radar, and even after exposure, the actors behind them won't stop their activity. They abandon the command and control host names, which in this case are free DNS based, and they may change the crypter and initial vector, but they won't stop their activity. It's just too lucrative for them, and again, compared to the currency and how much they earn in their local countries. The attacks, like many malware campaigns, start off with social engineering emails, according to Pereira and Ventura. The attacker sends emails to targets which spoof legitimate aerospace organizations. They purport to have a link to a PDF file. The files feature air travel-related names referencing things like trip itinerary details and Bombardier. In reality, the links send users to a VBS script hosted on Google Drive, which encrypts the final rat payload and drops it onto the victim's computer. The script is the Snipe3 crypter, which remains under active development and which is offered as a crypter as a service, according to previous research from Morphisec. It's worth noting that Microsoft flagged parts of the campaign back in May, offering a few additional technical details on the infection chain. At that point, Attackers used the remote access Trojans for data theft, follow-on activity, and additional payloads, including Agent Tesla, which they use for data exfiltration, Microsoft tweeted. The Trojans continuously rerun components until they are able to inject into processes like RegASM, install util, and rev services. They steal credentials, screenshots, and webcam data, browser and clipboard data, system and network info, and exfiltrate the data, often via SMTP port 587. The Cisco Talos research team, meanwhile, more recently uncovered a few attacker-controlled domains used for command and control for the aviation effort, including akconsult.linkpc.net, which is being used to host the AsyncRAT payload. Since that server was using TLS to encrypt the C2 communications, the researchers then performed a search for other servers using the same certificate thumbprint, and they uncovered 8 more domains linked to the campaign, along with more than 50 individual malware samples. Most of the domains were first seen either in May or June 2021. Pereira and Ventura explained. The oldest of the list seemed to be active only for a couple of days, without many samples using it. However, the URL e29rav.ddns.net was always active, with several samples using it as a command control server. They went on to link it with 14 malicious VBS crypter files used in the aviation campaign. The researchers also made an effort to see what other details they could turn up about the threat actor. For instance, using passive DNS telemetry, Pereira and Ventura compiled the list of IPs used by the domain akconsult.linkpc.net. The results show that roughly 73% of the IPs were based in Nigeria. They also did a search using the akconsult keyword. To this search revealed a malware sample and a user handle mentioned on the site hackingforum.net. They said a search on this forum turned up several indicators of the actor's identity. For instance, in forum interactions, the user linked an email address, kimjoy44@yahoo.com, and a Telegram account, Pablo Hop, both of which were then linked to the aviation-themed campaign. On Skype, the threat actor's email is associated with the username Abdulakim123. The researchers were also able to link a few early campaigns starting in 2013 to the akconsult keyword, and from there to another handle, Nasif2018, found on another popular hacking forum. John Bambanek, principal threat hunter at Netenrich, noted that this kind of breadcrumb research can offer a fairly complete picture of an adversary over time. The longer an adversary operates, the more likely they leave enough fingerprints to lead to accurate attribution, he told ThreatPost. Every attack has a rich array of metadata that, in and of itself, may be meaningless, but the correlation of that metadata can lead to correlations and getting to know much more about attackers. The key of intelligence analysts is to extract all the metadata and attributes from those attacks and store them over long periods of time so they can identify those patterns over the long term. Despite the cyber attackers' relative lack of sophistication and tech acumen, they present a major threat to organizations, the Cisco Talos analysts concluded. Many actors can have limited technical knowledge but still be able to operate rats or information stealers, posing a significant risk to large corporations given the right conditions. In this case, we have shown, or they have shown, that what seemed like a simple campaign is in fact a continuous operation that has been active for 3 years, targeting an entire industry with off-the-shelf malware disguised with different cryptors. And while cookies and credentials may be the main gets for now, there's an opportunity for worse attacks down the line, according to Jake Williams, co-founder and CTO at BreachQuest. The travel industry will always be a tempting target for threat actors, he told ThreatPost. Many countries run nationalized airlines and can benefit from internal operations data, effectively learning from the mistakes of their competitors. But the really juicy information is the travel schedules and patterns of individuals. So, what did we learn? Well, attackers can be in our systems for an extended period of time. This attack or this thing has been going on, or campaign has been going on for 3 years, and in certain cases, these credentials could be old but still valid. Attackers can penetrate our systems over and over again without our knowledge. If that is, our security procedures are not thorough enough to be able to catch them, or catch traces of them. Low-level or unsophisticated attackers, script kiddies for example, are just as capable of penetrating our systems as the big boys. In order to keep these evildoers out of our systems, we must be proactive in our security processes, meaning regular scans for unauthorized activity like SSH access to machines, system modifications outside of the patch or update cycle, and we need to scan for known malicious entities on a regular basis. So with that, I say thanks for watching, don't forget to share, and subscribe if you haven't already, and smash the bell if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.